People often talk about how the PlayStation 5 and the current generation of gaming lacks good games, or at least lacks the amount of good games that previous generations had for the equivalent point in that console's life cycle. And I made a video talking about how 2007 until 2014 saw some of the best games ever released. And I just want to show you guys what some of those were. Let's take a trip down memory lane, do a bit of Googling, and take a look at how many awesome games came out in each one of those years, shall we? Okay, so first of all, we'll go video games from 2007. And realistically, there's probably more than I'm even looking at here. This is just what Google comes up with as sources from across the web. But just check this out for 1 year. BioShock 1, Assassin's Creed 1, Portal 1, COD 4, Halo 3, Super Mario Galaxy, Team Fortress 2, Rock Band, God of War 2, Crysis, Uncharted 1, Mass Effect 1, one of the Ratchet & Clank games, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, Stalker, the first Witcher game, arguably the best game ever made, the B-movie, Tomb Raider Anniversary, Godfather the Don's Edition, Stranglehold, The Darkness, hell, even Sonic and the Secret Rings, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2, Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, Fire Emblem, Crackdown, Lost Odyssey. It was just such a good year. And no, we're not going to talk about Spider-Man 3. Anybody who saw my playthrough of that a while ago knows my thoughts with that one. But realistically right, there is more games than you can feasibly play per month there in terms of brilliant new games. These days, it feels like we might get 4 of these per year max. Back then, it was I don't know how many games that was I listed, but it was easily more than 12. Right, let's go take a look at 2008. Oh my lord, what a year. Grand Theft Auto 4, Fallout 3, God of War Chains of Olympus, Left 4 Dead, Metal Gear Solid 4, Gears of War 2, Call of Duty World at War, Fable 2, Far Cry 2, Saints Row 2, Spider-Man Web of Shadows, Star Wars Force Unleashed, Sonic Unleashed, Persona 4, Dead Space, Mario Kart for the Wii, which is arguably the most iconic one, Tomb Raider Underworld, Turok, Silent Hill Homecoming. Those are both underrated games I've played this year, actually. Battlefield Bad Company 1, Little Big Planet, Mirror's Edge. The Incredible Hulk game for 2008 was pretty good too. Prince of Persia 2008. And Army of Two. Condemned 2, Soul Calibur 4. These are all pretty good games as far as I'm concerned. And again, that is enough games there that generally... Again, my point, and the point of I think a lot of people, isn't that there are no good games on the PlayStation 5 or this generation. It's more so the rate that they come out. And people will defend it, saying, oh, games take longer to create now, games are more expensive to create now. And I would say that is fair if we didn't live in a world where games are so heavily monetized beyond their release. We don't live in a game where back then games would come out and the only money they would generally make is the game's sales itself, and if it was a big game like a Fallout or a Borderlands, etc., the DLC after the fact. These days, a lot of games are released and the money isn't made through the sale of the game, the money is made through the things that the game can then sell after the fact. So, I don't exactly see, games are really expensive to make as an excuse for a lack of the amount of games that we used to get. I think it's just a lack of creativity, perhaps. Look how many of these games are brand new IPs or brand new takes on a genre. Even things that are technically sequels that I've just listed, like GTA 4 and Fallout 3, completely changed up how the games felt versus their original ones. Whereas now, the majority of games that come out, if they're really good, are often remakes and remasters or sequels to existing things. It is pretty rare that we get new IP these days, especially that. So, we've got several layers of it is pretty rare going on right here. First of all, the amount of good games per year is much less than it used to be. Next of all, the amount of good games per year that are new IPs is much less than it used to be. Next of all, the amount of good games per year that are new IPs that are not also being hampered by being held back by having to also be created for a previous generation of consoles is not as good as it used to be. You got to think, right? If we look at some of the examples that I've just said out loud here, like Spider-Man Web of Shadows or Star Wars The Force Unleashed, games used to release cross-generation even back then, but it would be an entirely different game. Like if you played the PlayStation 2 version of Star Wars Force Unleashed versus the PlayStation 3 version, that's a different game, completely. Different dev team to some extent. It's crazy. 2009, what a year. Assassin's Creed 2, Batman Arkham Asylum, Brutal Legend, Borderlands, Left 4 Dead 2, Killzone 2, Uncharted 2, Dragon Age Origins, Resident Evil 5, Halo 3 ODST, Infamous, Modern Warfare 2, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, Grand Theft Auto 4 Lost and the Damned, Prototype, Angry Birds, The Ballad of Gay Tony, The Saboteur, one of the Ratchet & Clank games, Demon's Souls, Ghostbusters the video game, Bayonetta, Minecraft, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Halo Wars, League of Legends, Sonic and the Black Knight, Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Every year for realistically, I bet this would have continued if I'd have even started in 2006 rather than 2007. But every single one of these years has got more games than the last 4 years has in terms of for example, there are people out there that would consider Assassin's Creed 2, Batman Arkham Asylum, Halo 3, Prototype, Infamous, Modern Warfare 2, Bayonetta, Minecraft. These are all on a lot of people's all-time best games ever list. There are more of those types of games per year than we have got up to this current point in the current generation, which I think is crazy. Let's go 2010. Bro, it just carries on. Red Dead Redemption, Mass Effect 2, Black Ops 1, God of War 3, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Bioshock 2, Halo Reach, Alan Wake, Heavy Rain, Mafia 2, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Fallout New Vegas is one of the best games ever made, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Metro 2033, Dante's Inferno, Shattered Dimensions, Fable 3, Battlefield Bad Company 2, which is arguably one of the best Battlefield games ever made, and it's sad that it's gone, Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Limbo, Splinter Cell, Transformers War for Cybertron. I've not played that, but I know a lot of people absolutely love it. Just Cause 2, Star Wars Force Unleashed 2, God of War Goes to Sparta, Amnesia The Dark Descent, Alien vs Predator, Dead Rising 2, Epic Mickey, Final Fantasy. I don't know what that one is, but I know that a lot of people like Final Fantasy. Darksiders 1, and Deadly Premonition. So again, just an absolute metric butt ton of some of the best games ever. This is just the last 3 years. 3 years! Right, let's do 2011, shall we? So we got Deus Ex Human Revolution, Portal 2, Infamous 2, Little Big Planet 2, Batman Arkham City, Gears of War 3, Skyrim, Dead Space 2, Battlefield 3, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Modern Warfare 3, Uncharted 3, Saints Row 3. I remember this year very well. I remember literally thinking back in 2012, this is the year of the 3, because it carries on. Rayman Origins, LA Noire, Assassin's Creed Revelations, The Witcher 2, Dark Souls, Star Wars The Old Republic, Resistance 3, Sonic Generations, Warhammer 40k, Crysis 2, Super Mario 3D Land, Duke Nukem Forever, I remember the drama that came with that, Bulletstorm, Transformers Dark of the Moon, no, that's not the other one that people care about actually, Dragon Age 2, Shadows of the Damned, Captain America Super Soldier, Spider-Man Age of Time, Dead Island. Dead Island's trailer broke the internet back then. Mortal Kombat 9, everybody loved that game. This is such a golden era of gaming. Just such a good year. 2012, let's go. Right, so in 2012, it just keeps going, guys. 2012, Mass Effect 3, Max Payne 3, The Walking Dead Telltale game, Borderlands 2, Dishonored, Kingdom Hearts, Far Cry 3, Darksiders 2, Hitman Absolution, Prototype 2, Sleeping Dogs, Transformers Fall of Cybertron, Persona 4 Golden, Amazing Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed 3, Lollipop Chainsaw, Spec Ops The Line, Resident Evil Revelations, The Darkness 2, Diablo 4, Halo 4, Black Ops 2, Kingdoms of Amalur, Resident Evil 6, Silent Hill Downpour, Alan Wake's American Nightmare, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Twisted Metal, XCOM Enemy Unknown, Dragon's Dogma, Azura's Wrath, Epic Mickey 2, Street Fighter X Tekken, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. So many good games. 2013, this is where I think it's going to start slowing down, but there's still some excellent games in here. Bioshock Infinite, Tomb Raider Definitive, well, the Tomb Raider 2013 one, Saints Row 4, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, Splinter Cell Blacklist, GTA 5, DMC Devil May Cry, The Last of Us, Metro Last Light, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Beyond Two Souls, Super Mario 3D World, Injustice, Dead Rising 3, The Stanley Parable, who remembers that, Alien Colonial Marines, God of War Ascension, Arkham Origins, Battlefield 4, Warframe, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, Payday 2, Outlast, Dead Space 3, Call of Duty Ghosts, Pokemon X and Y, Deadpool game, Gears of War Judgment, just This era in gaming was just fantastic. 2014, Wolfenstein, Dragon Age Inquisition, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, Advanced Warfare, Far Cry 4, Alien Isolation, Dark Souls 2, South Park Stick of Truth, Evil Within, Infamous Second Son, Watch Dogs, Destiny, Metal Gear Solid 5, Sunset Overdrive, Metro Redux, Assassin's Creed Unity, Titanfall, PT, Last of Us Left Behind, Five Nights at Freddy's, Little Big Planet 3, Mario Kart 8, Borderlands the pre-sequel, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. He was a busy bee during that time, wasn't he? 24. This was such a good block of games. Let's carry on a bit further. Let's just see how it carries on to like 2015, because 2015 was even 9 years ago. We're already nearly 10 years ago. We'll stop at 2015, I do suppose. So 2015, Witcher 3, Fallout 4, Bloodborne, Arkham Knight, Black Ops 3, Metal Gear Solid 5, Dying Light, Rainbow Six Siege, I can't believe that's that old, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Until Dawn, Life is Strange, Max Payne 5, Halo 5, Battlefield Hardline, Nathan Drake Collection, Undertale, Mortal Kombat 10, Just Cause 3, Rocket League, Xenoverse, Scholar of the First Sin Edition for Dark Souls 2, Soma, that broke the internet for a while as well. I remember watching Jev play that. I can't believe that's been a decade. But notice how we got to 2015, it has began slowing down. That we are past that sort of golden era now. I hope that this has been a nostalgia trip for some of you guys, because I really do think that it's crazy how many good games there were. And again, it's not like there are no good games now, because there absolutely are. Black Myth, Wukong, Elden Ring, there have been tons of good games in recent years. But if you look at the last 4 years and you look at how many all-time greats are in there, as in games that somebody would feasibly be like, that is the best game of all time, I think it's undeniable that there were more best games of all time contenders in that block of time between 2007 and 2014 than there have been through what the last 7 years or so. So what's the last 7 years? 2017. Things are dramatically slowed down. And again, we got crunch, we got expensive games, but I really don't see the price as a problem considering the amount of money that games make these days. It's just that one goes up, the other goes up. One goes up, the other goes up. It's not like one went up and the other one didn't. You know, the only thing that we don't have that we can't really scale here is, you know, time. I'm really happy to have been a teenager during that time frame. I think it was really good that I really remember 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14 really, really well. That was my like high school years. So like I had all the time in the world to play. My attendance at school was awful because I was constantly skiving. I'd have to have meetings with an education and welfare officer because they weren't happy with how much time I was having off school. It was fantastic. I played so much games back then. I still play so much games now, but like there were enough games back then that you could play a brand new like best game of all time contender literally every month for like 5 to 7 years. And could it be nostalgia talking? I don't know, maybe. It's gaming is an incredibly subjective thing. Like nothing I'm saying here is objective fact. But I do think it's difficult to argue with when you actually look at numbers and look at what games come out these days. Like, be willing to bet you that if you look at someone's favourite games of the last 5 years, a lot of them are probably remakes. Being real. Some of the best games in the last 5 years are remakes and remasters of games that came out a long, long time ago. So comment down below, which of this era, which one of these years was your favourite year for gaming? If you're older than me, which a lot of you guys are, maybe a year that I haven't included, what was your favourite year? What games came out? I'm curious. Comment down below, maybe we'll take a look at it in future videos.